move to the idea that when we print out a report, you'll see the sun line, the moon, the ascendant. But right after that says NN for North Node. That's typically line 4. And then line 5 is SN for South Node. So with the nodal axis, you have the center of a zodiacal wheel. And a nodal axis is completely 180 degrees opposite each other. And this is how the beautiful cosmic game works in life, right? As a soul, we agree, hey, I didn't learn that issue in my last life. I'll come in again and try and learn it this life. So there's some pre-agreements. You can find out where you came from in a past life, what those lessons were. And you can also see on the 100% opposite what the lesson is now that will challenge you in this life. Now, you're not going to find nodes in the cosmos. It's not like a planet. It's not physical, but it has a very specific point in space that involves the Earth and the moon. Julia, do you want to add anything?
I would like to go straight to the experience I've had with so many QHHT clients when I was doing years of past life regression sessions through QHHT. And we looked at several different past lives of a person. And then after their session, I would sit and look at their charts, and especially at the lunar nodes, I would see that it's true what's written in their chart.
Right, because everyone comes in with nodal points. So there's still that lesson. So that said, we're going to move next to the third house. So we're going to do third house with the house of Gemini, ruled by Mercury, pairing up with Sagittarius, the ninth house. Planetary ruler is Jupiter. And our beloved Julia really understands and knows Gemini Sagittarius. I'm going to just give you the microphone, beautiful Julia, for if the North Node is in the third house of Gemini, saying, I think, I communicate with, the opposite being Sagittarius, I explore, I teach, I'm the philosopher. So North Node in third house.
That person would have had several lives as a teacher or scribe or someone who was investing all their time to seeking truth, seeking higher wisdom, usually also building prominent position in their society where they were the ones that people came to for answers. And it's either they stayed centered in their heart and they were helping, or they became too, the wounded masculine, where it's my way or no way, or you will be punished if you don't listen to what I say. I don't know how else to say this. And becoming snobby. They can become petty of other people's opinions, and you don't even listen. And it's just, the best, and the answer even before you listen to what the person is actually trying to tell you. So these are some of the karmic themes that need to be worked through and re-experienced, because the soul needs to learn that that's not the way, that's not true wisdom, that is ego. So then they will be challenged in this incarnation. Usually they will have teacher in school who will be like that, opinionated and really,
intolerant,
like that, exactly. And it will irritate this child so much because that'll be their reflection from previous lifetime. So they're here to learn to become much more graceful in their delivery of their wisdom, and to not put themselves on a high pedestal, but learn to experience the everyday commoner's language as something that is also valuable. They are pushed or forced to learn through everyday humans about everyday life and start valuing that. However hard they will try to teach and become prominent and known and have all the respect, there'll be blocks upon blocks upon blocks. Life will not let them do it until they learn humility. So I've seen that many times. Oh, and one more thing, once they start stepping into their higher wisdom, then they are called to dissect big topics into digestible sizes so that everyday person can learn to understand big wisdom, divine mysteries. They have to find a way to bring it into smaller chunk sizes for others. And that's their path then, being a bridge between divine wisdom and bringing it to everyday human. So it becomes beautiful then. And the other way around, North Node in Sagittarius. These people, when I recall past life regressions from QHHT, they would have been like a socialite, very busy at, like I literally recall some of the past life stories that are coming up here, where the person would be involved with so many different relationships, but always very quite shallow. There was never a depth in the relationships. They would have been born in families that were valuing social status rather than warmth and love and kindness and compassion, or they would have never really had a chance to study, higher wisdom, bigger topics. It was always very kind of lower level consciousness. And also sometimes the karma with North Node in Sagittarius or ninth house is about lies, deceit, changing your perspective depending on what you see the other person wants to hear. So whenever you will do that in this life, like gossiping, it'll always immediately slap you right back in the face, and the person is taught through experience. It burns them so many times that eventually they stop and they learn to speak only when it's kind and true and necessary, right? And then they actually, by the age of 30, 40, they start being guided towards studying higher consciousness material, whether that's astrology or philosophy or whatever else, and then eventually actually start teaching it. So it's also a very interesting path. And many of these would have alignments also with either Pleiades or Orion. So, and if it's especially aligned with South North nodes, then they become the teacher. They start having some prominent spot in whether smaller communities or globally through the internet. They usually it's a path of teacher-student, and then working with student teachers as well. What is very strong with these is also they are multitaskers, especially when Gemini is strong. They cannot do just one project or study just one course. They'll study 5 different courses at the same time. They're really very multi-passionate people and quite scattered. And they then, if you see that with your clients, you need to help them realize that they need to become, especially if North Node then is Sagittarius, they need to find one arrow and focus on that, because they will never manifest anything really. The energy is too scattered, not focused.
Yeah. In the United States, we say that's a jack of all trades, but a master
Gemini.
of none.
Mm-hmm.
Master of none. All I can do is give a shout out. Anyone listening, this recorded chat is chock full. And so I would encourage everyone to go back and re-listen to this, because Julia, you're giving us the gold.